Tuberino.
Streaming. Oh, look at that. Deuces.
I'll just stay like that the whole time.
Is that a picture? Is that video? We're not sure. Oh, perfect.
Powerful Joe Rogan is also live on YouTube right now.
Oh,
so
man.
we're gonna get squashed.
Oh, I love it. Oh, man. Yeah, can't compete. Maybe we'll pull bigger numbers.
Hey, big news, though, Aaron. Big news.
Big news.
Rodney Sandstorm agreed to come on the podcast.
Woo! Oh, my.
Yeah, so that's happening next week, hopefully.
Man, so you're going to have a scrub like me and then five. Was I just so it could look so great by comparison? Is that what this was?
There's no hidden agenda, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Oh,
man.
well.
Brandon says, "What's up?" If you're not on, I don't know if you're watching YouTube there.
I got distracted by something. Now I'm getting on YouTube. I had to make
I
sure.
bust the spectacles
I
out and
started
everybody
off
gets
on
distracted.
mute for the first time ever.
Well, oh yeah, with
Yeah,
the
it's like
thing all the way
I
down.
knew ahead of time.
So we didn't have the.
Brandon's there. You just said that.
You just said that. Good times. We'll wait on a few folks to join, hang out. John Pearson.
Hey, from Calgary.
Calgary, what's
Man,
up?
we got the Canucks in the house.
All right.
It's going to have product
got a
placement on that. I'll just
product
put that
placement.
right there.
Yeah. There's the lap traffic koozie.
Got a
Yeah.
question from William Soki, and I ran into Tone at the racetrack. Strong Canadian representation.
There was strong representation for everybody out there,
Oh,
it
yeah,
seems
nice
like.
looking koozie there.
Mm-hmm.
I got one of my own somewhere. It's not here.
Yeah.
I think I gave you one. Maybe I didn't. I meant
tried
to
to-
if I didn't.
I cleaned off the desk by just taking all the papers and just pushing them
Throw it
off
into
the
the corner.
side. And so now the desk is nice and clean, but the corner, yeah, that's a mess.
Have you seen that GIF? It's like, you need to simplify your life or something. And it's a dude in a panda suit and just knocks all the shit off somebody's work desk. Throws a monitor on the floor.
Oh, I love it. Let's see. All right, we got
Spooling it up to 9.
normal
Got,
folks
what,
watching. So
6 people that
Howdy,
are
y'all.
watching without
Woo.
without commenting, which is also fine.
yeah. Join the
However you
comments
do
if
it,
you
it's how
want
you do
to.
it.
We'll see it. We'll talk about
We
it.
got a pretty full show coming
Yeah.
off of a interesting weekend at Michigan where
Yeah,
I
pretty
think-
much first period of the report card is like, Sherwin, take it over. Like,
Dad Jokes is here.
give us
All
a
right,
rundown.
Roger Diamond in the hizzy.
Dad jokes is a ride. You changed your avatar there. It's a different picture, I think. I think
Roger
it
did,
is
for sure.
Yeah.
It was kind of a
Yeah.
almost cartoony look.
Oh
Or
yeah.
like a filter, like a black and white filter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
That's what I'm
right.
going for.
Let's see. Do I have all the stuff up? Nope, I do not. Sound effects. There's a folder for that. There it is. We are NASCAR. That is the song that I play before the thing starts. Yep.
Oh,
There's a
and
preview.
I now have Jordan Taylor's cell phone number.
Boom.
So there's that.
Bam.
Love it.
Getting famous.
Yeah, right.
Woo!
You're putting together quite the Rolodex there, Sherwin.
I tell you what, I wish I had all the numbers that were in my old phone. I got to go back and hunt those down.
Yeah. All right. 9:04. We got some folks on. We ready to get this started?
Yes.
Let's do another sound check right quick.
All good to go.
Mine needs maybe a hair more. Sherwin?
Hey.
All right. Get that, maybe bump it up a little bit closer to you. I know the beard gets in the way nowadays.
It's in the.
Yeah, there you
It also
go.
is in the way of the camera.
Oh, okay.
That's the reason why I had it low like that.
Oh, that's perfect, though, right there.
All right, well, I'll try to do it like this.
Aaron, you give us something?
Hey. Do I sound all right?
Hey.
We're fixing to
Hey.
script us up an episode of Fat Albert.
All right, we ready to roll? Sherwin, you ready?
I forgot that was Cosby's deal. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, Aaron, you ready?
All set.
Let's do this. Whoa. Oh, that was snafu. Let's start over.
Sweet. This is the only time we can actually edit the show.
Right. I don't even try otherwise. I accidentally hit mute instead of hitting volume down a little bit. So, all right, one more time. We're recording now. Welcome, y'all! That's right. This is the Pregame Engineer Tailgate Mayor Racing Podcast, episode number 151. It's Thursday, June 14th, 2018. I'm Tailgate Mayor Rusty Wallace. I'm joining the PTM Podcast studio with Pregame Engineer Andrew Sherwin. What's up, dude?
Well, coming off a race weekend, this feels like the longest short week ever.
Longest short week ever, no kidding.
And it's Thursday. You feel good about tomorrow being Friday, and you're almost done with your work week. But it took me forever to get to here.
Yeah. Well, before we get further into there, y'all know that this podcast is sponsored by you. That's right. You go to patreon.com/PTM. Join the What You Drink Club for as little as $1 a month. Get that free koozie. And the best part is, every cent in 2018, we're donating to sponsoring drivers. So join the PTM posse today. Be a part of the sport you love. This week's show brought to you by our official sponsors at the $5 and up per month level. That is David Patterson, Laura Henshaw, Mick Rose, Aaron Bearden. I got distracted there.
Over that one, didn't you?
Robert Keplinger, Tony Salt, Colby McClam, Eric Kepner, Ryan Kiefer, Marion LeBest, Patrick Cleary, Jeff Brown, Brendan Crowd, Kathleen McDonald, Stacey Wright, Brandon Carl, Billy Workman, Rika Porter, Jumpy Bob, Les Miller, Jason Rudd, Tommy Witt, Mark Wiley, and Julie Bosley. Oh, man. Yeah, I got tripped up, dude, because we'll go ahead and bring him on right now. PTM PhD, motorsports journalist for KickingTires.net, on Twitter at Aaron Bearden93. Welcome back to the show, Aaron Bearden, and a official sponsor of not just PTM podcast, but our man Jensen Jorgensen. What's up, Aaron?
Woo! Not much. How you guys doing tonight?
We're fantastic. We've got the drink set up, and we're ready to do this thing.
Yeah. Speaking of, real quick, I'll interject. Speaking of Jensen Jorgensen.
Yes, sir.
Starting P2 tonight.
P2?
Tonight, and their race is about to roll.
We ain't afraid of no P2.
And that's right. That's right. I don't expect to win, but
I ain't afraid.
I think he expects to win.
Yeah.
That's good enough.
Yeah, good times. Aaron, so what's funny, Aaron, is that you have seen Sherwin more recently than I have.
Yes, I have. I
now,
got to see him in all his glory at Michigan this weekend.
And how much glory is there?
I better not comment on that.
Well, hopefully everybody's recovered at this point, because you know how we start this thing. Aaron, what you drinking on tonight?
So, this might get me some flame. I don't know. I got a wild cherry Pepsi in here. Any Coke fans out there, I apologize. I drink them both interchangeably. That's just what was cheaper this week. And then I got some water in this one.
Oh, there you go. And, I mean, you know, Pepsi's kind of a cuss word down here. My dad worked for Coke for 13 years or so, and I don't think I had Pepsi till I was, like, in college, sure.
There was a time, so do you remember Pace Warehouse? It's kind of like the original Sam's Club.
Yes.
Yeah. So my dad would buy flats of soft drinks from there.
Uh-huh.
And it was Coke when Coke was what was available.
Yeah.
But occasionally the Pepsi products would be cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
And he would buy flats of Pepsis. So I know we make fun of all the time about, Cokes. When we open our fridge, we say, you want a Coke or something?
Yeah.
It might not be Coke in there.
Right.
It might just be Sprites and Purple Drink. And
right.
Who knows what else.
Sunny D.
But, yeah, we drank some Pepsi a little bit back in the day, but I still maintain my loyalty as to Coca-Cola.
Oh, absolutely. And if you go your whole life drink Coca-Cola and then you have a Pepsi, you're like, what is this garbage?
It
Lord.
doesn't have enough carbonation in it.
Or something. I don't know. It's awful. Aaron, you're kicked off. What are you doing?
Oh, I'm sorry. That Pepsi just tasted too good.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Jerk.
Sherwin, what are we drinking on tonight?
I don't know what you got over there.
Oh, I got the old
fancy.
Well, I got the old Jim Beam, but I mixed it so the Diet Coke has all those new flavors now.
I saw.
So this is, I mean, it comes in the Virginia Slim can,
It looks like one of those White Claw cans, that boozy, like,
LaCroix
stuff.
Yeah. Well,
like Claire's always
I'll
drinking
take that.
stuff.
I'm thinking more like the ladylike thing.
It looks like a Michelob Ultra for sure.
Yes, but it's ginger lime, and that goes really good with bourbon.
That actually sounds delicious.
As it turns out. So
I got Coke Zero from the fountain at your closest McDonald's. Because I stopped there for dinner, and then I put some wild turkey in it. Woo!
Well done. Did you drive here? I didn't even look.
I did.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I behaved myself and drove in today, so probably not quite as off the rails as I might normally be.
Sherwin's here for the weekend.
That's right.
Yeah.
Batching it. We're batching it up 2 weekends in a row.
Yeah. My old lady's out. She's visiting some friends, so Sherwin's like, how about I just stay over Thursday so that I don't have to drive down there on Friday? I'm like, that sounds like a plan right there.
Yeah, so I'll work from your kitchen table.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
we're going to hook something up on the Big Green Egg for sure, and everybody can judge us and watch us and give us tips on how to do
there will
brisket.
be many periscopes from the
Yeah.
back porch as we mess around with that piece of meat.
Yes, sir. With that, Aaron, I don't know. You've been on here so many times. We don't have to, intro and all that. What's the big stories you're following right now? What's going on?
Well, right now, the biggest thing I'm following isn't even in NASCAR land, so I might be out of place right now. But there's this little race in France coming up this weekend called the 24 Hours of Le Mans, or as my redneck family calls it, Le Mans.
Lee Mans.
Lee Mans, yeah.
Yeah, Lee
Or
Mans.
Lemons.
I think that's the guy that used to mow our yard down there, lived down by the creek. But that race is coming up this weekend, and contrary to popular belief, there are more people than just Fernando Alonso in it. So I'm looking forward to watching it, and hopefully I'm just kind of going and watching my dad this week.
So is what time does that race start? Like Eastern time or whatever? U.S.
I want to say it starts at 9 a.m. Eastern time, and I think it's on Velocity, which is a really weird channel. But
yeah, that's kind of obscure. I don't know if I get that one. I know it's on the lineup, but Comcast keeps shaving off which freaking channels I got.
Yeah, I'm ready to choke somebody over there. I did finally figure it out that we've got FS2, only in low def, though.
Oh, well,
So I've been bitching my face off for a couple years about that.
yeah.
Turns out I've got it. It's just in low def. Which, I
Right.
mean, if you're watching a NASCAR race, low def's really not that big a deal. It's better than no def.
Right.
Yeah.
I've had no def for a long time on that. With that, you know what? Let's go ahead and do this. We've got a lot to talk about, Sherwin. Let's go ahead and get it torn down. If I put this off the
this
mute,
could be a long
this could be
tear
something.
down. Well, because we've got to talk about Michigan
Michigan
and my
Michigan.
experience.
Well, I already said that
we have a segment in there somewhere.
you've seen Aaron more recently than I have, and that's because y'all were both at Michigan. I was here. Me and the wife had some other plans, so we went and did that. And we'll go to the report card. And first period is all about that. I'm handing the mic over to Sherwin
Okay.
to be kind of
All right,
the
first period.
Yeah, the color commentator here. Talk about that experience in Michigan. Let's talk about that and talk about when you saw Aaron and hanging out and all that stuff.
Oh, well, so I think ran into Aaron in the media center. So okay. So, I mean, I'll just start and try to do it from the top. We get there. Of course, we have media lot passes, which is pretty
Special.
pretty damn cool, right?
I still got the
You're
Media
already-
Lot sticker on the truck.
I told Brandon that. I was like, that sticker right there, it's still on Rusty's truck. And so we pull in.
And it's big. It's a lot of real estate, too. Like, it's probably not
it's
legal.
way bigger than the one from Michigan.
Right.
The one from Michigan's only regular sticker
Oh,
size.
yeah. No. We go big.
So we pull in, and then I don't even remember what we did first. I guess we went to the media center because that's right, because Brandon had all this stuff set up for Friday.
Oh, yeah,
Like we had a radio room, like we had our own room. Like Claire B. Lang was over here,
Yep.
and then we were like Katie Corner across the hall.
That's
in a
awesome.
radio room because we had let's see, Brandon did an interview with Tyler Reddick at the Hauler, which I took a bunch of pictures of that. And then we had Cole Custer and Matt Tift in the radio room. And then he went out and interviewed Brandon Jones at the Hauler. I couldn't go because the garage was hot, and I only had a cold pass. So I just kind of milled around and went all the places. I basically said, I'm on a mission to find a place where I'm not supposed to be. To get somebody to tell me you can't be here, which I was successful at. And then we came back. We had Eric Jones
Oh, man.
in the radio room. But to
Wow.
kick the whole thing off, we had the Cone in there. It was just the Cone, Brandon and I, and Chloe and Brad Yunker.
Uh-huh.
And Brandon's
cool.
wife was in there, but she never really wanted to be on mic. So we just kind of did 15 minutes of – we did 20 minutes, but Brandon had to cut out 5 of it because of the things Cone said, as you would imagine. So that was Friday, right? And then we were so mentally out of it that we didn't go to the ARCA race. We just went home.
Okay.
We had a very interesting host at the Airbnb.
Oh, no.
Took us out on the pontoon. We had a great time, but they were like the kind of people that they Airbnb because they want people in their house.
Oh, geez.
So didn't go away.
Uh-huh.
They were always around, which
I like
is
that.
a little bit of weird for me. And I tried to explain this to Brandon and Lindsay, his wife, because they're like, "Are you having a good time?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm absolutely having a good time. I think what you don't understand is how much time I spend alone and how much I like being alone, how much it recharges me to be alone.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was going through that whole process of being an introvert, despite the fact that everybody that's ever heard me talk that doesn't know me thinks I'm this gregarious personality because I do it into a microphone. I'm like, you got to understand, I'm sitting across the desk from somebody I've known for 17 years. We do everything together.
Right.
That we,
right.
and it's like, there is no introversion when I'm with you,
right.
unless we're both sitting on the couch playing in our phones with a race on.
Yeah.
Because that happens a lot. And so anyway, that was Friday. Saturday we came to the track, predictably rain everywhere. We didn't think we were going to watch a single lap. We actually left the track. And just because we were so close, it was like, well, we'll watch on Twitter, and if they say they're going green, we'll jump in the car. By God, that's what happened. And they bumped the start time up 12 minutes, so we're pulling in the tunnel as the flag waves. Like we get out of Brandon's car to walk through the tunnel to go up into the press box, and lap 2 had just clicked off. On the pole there, the pylon. And then we watched the race from the press box. I was like, I know I'm not supposed to be in here. And Brandon's, Aaron's there, Jeff Gluck's there, Chris Snyder's in there.
Oh, that's cool.
There's a host of other people that are in there. A lot of them actually watch it from the media center, which I thought was weird.
Yeah.
The media center is like a dungeon. There's no window. You have to leave the media center and walk down the hall towards the cafeteria until you can see out of a window.
Yeah.
And even then, right there, you can't watch the race from inside right there because you only have a 20-foot window of track that you can see where they just, how that works. So anyway, that was, so we got 90 of 120 laps in on Saturday.
Yep.
That weird restrictor plate thing. I'll tell you what it looked like. It looked exactly like Daytona used to look like before they paved it.
Okay.
So you had a 5-car group, and then a 4-car group, and then a 7-car group, and then everybody else.
Mm-hmm. And
they basically were all running single file. Now, they could pull up and pass a little bit. You could see Kyle Busch making a lot of passes.
Yeah.
He went to the back at some point. I can't remember for what. Basically drove back to the front. So you could drive the car to the front, but, the high line was the right line. And so I'm not sure what to say. I'm glad that we did this in the Xfinity. I get super nervous about them talking about it doing in Cup. That's already been said ad nauseum in the podcast space and in the news space.
Were Nider and Gluck like, oh great, what the hell is this guy doing here? And Aaron, you tell us.
Yeah.
Oh no, don't look me to judge. I'm just more ready for the race. It's not unusual for there to be a few people where you're like, I don't necessarily know y'all. Most of the time it's just local people or, so-and-so with the Shibbity Gook City Tribune down the road got a credential and they're up in the press box watching. So you kind of get some of that. Y'all, I knew who he was, so I wasn't too afraid of it. Now, Gluck might have wanted to kick him out. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
I didn't really talk to Chris.
Now, you about had a spit take, Aaron, when Sherwin said Media Center Dungeon. It seemed to, strike a chord. Is there a backstory there?
No. I wouldn't necessarily say a backstory, just an acknowledgement. You sit in that media center sometimes and you get almost like a tunnel vision. You forget you're at a racetrack outside of I don't know, it's like you're in an office space and every now and then the walls just kind of rattle. So almost like being in LA with the earthquakes, I guess. It's you're just sitting there chilling, you hear the walls rattle every now and then you'll get up to go to the restroom, look to your right and go, oh yeah, there are cars here. I'm at a racetrack. There are people out there. I'm not at a cubicle. I don't know.
I should go outside.
Yeah.
One of the things I noticed, and I wanted to mention this because I thought it was strange. In the press box, if you sit down at your desk, whether you're on the first row or you're on the higher row, you can't see the front stretch.
Oh, really?
Maybe Ichabod Crane probably could, but I can't. My short torso. So every time they restarted, I had to stand up, and it was I know number one thing in the press box is you can't be you're not supposed to be a fan. I was but it's I can't even be media if I can't see it. So a lot of times I would walk outside because on either side of the building where the press box is, you got a great view. Whether they're coming out of 4 or going into 1, got a great view from there.
Yeah,
I watched several restarts from outside just because I wouldn't have to stand up in the middle of the media center to see it.
Right. Now it's you said can't be a fan, but when Casey, took the 2-tire stop and then took off a little bit, I think I was texting back and forth with you on Sunday, and I was like, not bad. I like seeing this.
I did some kind of hand gesture. I was kind of like,
yeah.
I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Wait.
But you know what? I was a little bit relaxed because somebody that had a press pass was wearing all Denny Hamlin garb. And I'm like, I didn't think you were supposed to do that, but I'm definitely so he stands out compared to me.
Yeah.
So I think as long as I don't like hoot, holler, and clap and stuff, I'm probably good.
Yeah. Aaron, what are some press box faux pas that you've seen happen along the time?
I don't overly press box it too much, but the few things I have seen, there's the obvious like cheering.
Mm-hmm.
I went to one time and this guy like didn't stop talking for like I think it was a short track. I want to say it might have been Bristol, and this dude didn't stop talking for about 400 of the 500 laps.
Oh, good.
That was great for focusing on the race there.
That's a lot of talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how he did it. Maybe he should have a podcast.
That's like the NASCAR version of a filibuster.
Yeah, right. Stand up there, read a dictionary.
Which that's what I feel like when I try to read through the rule book sometimes. But
Right.
trying to think of anything else. Usually, for the most part, people are pretty restrained, I'd say. You get the occasional crazy, but I don't think it's none too bad. And I'll tell you, on Sunday, I was actually walking out of the press box quite a bit myself, but it wasn't because I needed the view. I just wanted to see if it was still raining.
Oh, yeah.
Every time I walked
Same.
out there, I got missed.
Yeah, they kept talking on the radio about, do you see rain or whatever? And I'm like, let me go out there and just do the skin test.
Yeah, right.
But the funny thing that happened was before the Cup race, we were in the media center, and we were sitting in a desk that like faces one wall, but there was a row behind us. They were all mirror rows like this. So imagine your desk like this, but like 50 feet long in each direction. There was like 3 of those. And so we're facing one direction. I'm sitting next to Brandon, and Lindsay's sitting next to him. And in walks a prominently well-known personality / musician and plops down behind us with his gorgeous 20-something-year-old girlfriend, of course, / handler, whatever you want to call that. And Lindsay, like, does one of these, smacks Brandon. He does one of these, smacks me, and I do one of these. And Trace Atkins makes eye contact with all 3 of us at the same time. And he gives a little, like, the military, like, are you watching?
Are you watching?
He's like, I got my eye on you 3.
But about 3 octaves lower.
and 80 decibels louder.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Lindsay ended up getting a picture with him. So we didn't, we were afraid that was outside of the bounds of what we were supposed to be doing.
What's allowed up there?
Yeah. Well, this was in the media center.
Yeah.
But, it was cool, man. The whole experience, like, so Saturday we got to see the Rusty Wallace induction into the Penske Hall of Fame.
I saw that.
I was like, man, I hate for you that you're missing this because that's pretty damn cool. Because you probably would have figured out a way to turn that into a conversation with Rusty.
Yeah.
Whereas me, I'm just kind of like sitting over here just looking, going, that's Rusty Wallace right over there.
I'd introduce myself. Hey, I'm Rusty Wallace.
All right, that's probably enough of me rambling about Michigan.
Well, how about Sunday? And anything special there other than just going in and out of the press box looking for rain?
Oh well, I mean, it was all that I could do to keep from raising almighty hell when Clint won. But we were already kind of on our way out. We could tell based on walking outside, we could see the track had changed color.
Yeah.
We knew what the TV window was, and we knew what time it got dark. And so we walked. We were walking into the elevator. Like, I was this close to Spotter Brett.
Oh, cool. Did you say hey?
I didn't because he still had – they hadn't called it yet.
Yeah,
so
I got
they're all hollering. Like, they're running into the elevator to get out of there.
Yeah.
And they're like, they haven't called it yet. We know they're going to call it. Yeah. There it is. Whoa! And, like,
yeah. That's cool. From a fan's perspective, watching on TV, it was like, all right, and they've thrown the yellow flag, and now the red flag for rain. Race is over. It was like, whoa, that was quick. But all the factors that you just said, of course.
Yeah, so we knew as soon as the caution came out that was it.
Yeah.
And so we just started. We were on our way out. We're like, we got to beat traffic. We want to be first in line at the tram ride, which we weren't, but that all worked out pretty good. We were back at Brandon's house in northwest Detroit by, I don't know, 8:30 or something like that.
Okay,
9 o'clock ish.
So that's all the curricular activities. Talk to me about extracurricular activities. Well, our host, Old Gare, as Cone likes to call him, because Brandon and Lindsay have stayed with this guy a couple years in a row. Okay.
And last year, the running joke was that Old Gare took Lindsay out on a date on the boat while Brandon was at the racetrack. So she didn't join us. She did not join us for the Xfinity race.
She's on a date?
She was on a date with Old Gare.
Old Gare.
Sure. And on Friday night, Old Gare forgot to eat dinner.
Oh, boy.
Everybody knows what's next.
Yep.
Old Gare fell down some stairs.
Oh, no.
Then hurt himself. But he got hammered.
Oh, been there.
Awesome.
Now, y'all had like a big dinner one night, didn't you? Was there?
So Saturday night, we went to where did we go Saturday night? Was it Saturday night or Sunday night? Saturday night, yeah. So, well, actually, Friday night, we'll start off with the cool dinner. We went to a place that Brandon and Lindsay really like called The Point. It's on this little small lake near Brooklyn, or in Brooklyn, I should say. And we walk up, and Bubba's doing a meet and greet.
Oh, cool.
So I get a picture with Bubba Wallace. I got a signed hero card, which Brandon is in possession of because I left it in his car. And then like halfway through our meal, Richard Childress sits down like 2 tables away.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that was fun. That was good food. And then the next night was like the big dinner night. Cone planned it. So Cone's there. The Yunkers are there. Brandon and me are there. And there's a couple other guys we met along the way that are part of their network. It's kind of like a yearly thing they do.
Oh, cool.
I don't even – Beach Bar, I think, is the name of the place. It was just kind of an Americana type pizzeria / Americana place. But it was cool. We had about 12 or 15 people. It was fun. It was a good time.
That's awesome. Well,
Sounds
Aaron,
like fun.
we've ignored you. We brought you on the show and then just let you sit there for a while. Give us your take on that race. What your perspective was, and then what happened. I'm kind of bleeding into some of the other periods we have here, but might as well. Oop.
On the Cup race?
Yeah, why not?
Sure, I will start with that. I mean, it was a little different than what we've been seeing throughout the year, and for that reason, I kind of liked it. I don't know if it was because we had the rain coming, or if some people just hit the stuff a little better or what, but for one of the first times really in the last 3 or 4 months, we saw a race that wasn't just all about Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, and Martin Truex.
Yeah.
I mean, Ryan Blaney won a stage. Now, Harvick did Harvick things in stage 2 and probably would have won the thing outright if it would have stayed green, but I mean, Bowyer was there with him pace for pace throughout the day. Kurt Busch had the pole. Truex weirdly struggled, and I've yet to figure out what happened there. I don't know if maybe Michael Waltrip has more force behind that fall than we knew, but it was unique. It was the first time I'd ever covered a race that'd be considered like a rain out like that, and so it was different for me. I kind of started writing my stuff as soon as I saw the red flag come out because I knew it was over, but overall, pretty good race. Cool to see Bowyer win just because you love to see that enthusiasm on anybody when they win a race. I think that's the sort of emotion and excitement that fans can get behind. So I love seeing that, and I wish more drivers would show that. So cool to see Bowyer get the win. And honestly, just a chaotic, weird weekend, and no better way, I guess, to wrap us up as we head into the off weekend.
Yeah.
No kid.
Second period, Sherwin, I've got let's talk about the speed. So, I mean, that's the thing people talk about at Michigan is the speed. And I want to know on track while you're there, do you see that speed like you? Because you can see it on TV. It's wild. Is it more pronounced, or is it something that you go and you see it and you're just like, holy cow, they're going fast? Or is it kind of like, well, it's a big track and they're going fast?
On the Cup side? Or
Yeah.
There is a weird sort of feeling of, well, that looks like they're going really, really, really fast.
Yeah.
Really fast. I don't know. What's your perspective, Aaron?
Well, my perspective, especially this time of year, is skewed because y'all got to remember I'm 2 weeks removed from covering the Indianapolis 500. So I just saw cars hauling off down the straightaways at 230, so
Yeah.
219 at the end of the straight doesn't feel quite as fast. But when you're used to covering like Bristol or even Atlanta or tracks like that, where they go fast, but they're still 20 mile an hour off what they hit at Michigan, you do get that sense of speed. Especially, I feel like the fans who have seats over by the end of the straightaways are going into turn one. I mean, in qualifying, what'd they say Kurt Busch was going 219 before he barreled off into turn one?
I thought it was pretty
You
hilarious.
can definitely.
I thought it was very
What's
sorry. I thought it was
Okay.
very funny that they were touting the speed in the booth, like, "Oh my God, he did 219." DW and Brad Keselowski sends out a tweet. Last year we were doing 223.
Always the social media troll.
Yeah, he's kind of
I like
just Brad, right?
I like it. Yeah.
A little snarky.
So on into third period, which, I mean, we haven't even given grades yet, but it's time to do some grades. Roush suddenly adds 10 races this year for Matt Kenseth. And so let's talk about that, and then let's rate his performance so far. Aaron, kick us off.
I mean, if they want Kenseth to kind of be the gauge for where the team's at, I mean, he's the most veteran presence, and it makes sense to have him continue to fill that ride and kind of get experience with the team and work with them over more than just a 3 or 4 race stint. So I think that's wise. As for how he's done, I think we saw some perks of promise at Pocono when he came home 13th. Charlotte was okay. Kansas, we won't talk about. And Michigan, it was just more about that quote. What did he say when he came down and they said the car might catch on fire? He said, "We can only hope," or something.
That's funny. I missed that. So he spun off turn 4
Yeah.
at Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I give Kenseth's snark and dry humor an absolute A. His performance on track maybe a B to B minus. We haven't really seen enough to completely grade that, but if they have the funding and everything, it makes sense to bring him on for that many races moving forward. I think it's only logical.
Yeah. Sherwin.
Well, I think a lot of us were playing the assumption game that Bain would only be guaranteed the races that Advocare has agreed to sponsor.
Yep.
And I think that's what we saw play out. So I'm not the least bit surprised. Now, in terms of I think in terms of giving Roush a grade on bringing Kenseth in, that's an A. We've already discussed that.
Yep.
You couldn't. There was no better available person for that role.
Yep.
I mean, Biffle you could say was good, but Kenseth's better than Biffle.
Yep.
Or has been in the same equipment. So that's an A. I would say the performance I don't know if I'll grade Matt Kenseth's performance. I don't know if I can. I think what has happened though is we're all very much aware that car is a certified POS right now.
Right.
and now we know. And I think I would tend to side with some of the people that are big Bain fans and are a little bit butthurt over this whole process, and that I don't think we had a driver problem. I think we got a car problem.
Well,
But the problem is Bain couldn't fix it, so you had to change something.
Well, and Bain couldn't prove that out if we talked about it before, hitting the wall every race.
That's true. That's another thing that although Kenseth did spin at Michigan, he's not knocking the wall down every third or fourth lap.
Right. For me, I mean, I'll give his performance a B so far because it's and you could give an F minus to some, if you think about just where he has finished and hasn't really done it, but. You're exactly right. And for me, it's about expectation versus performance. And if I think of what did I expect him to do, I expect him to finish about where he is. I would like to see, I would have liked to see, the A would have been a top 10 somewhere and go, ooh, okay. That's, I got goosebumps right now just thinking about how cool would that be?
Yeah.
He comes in as the hero. He's wearing the cape. He comes out and he finishes top 10 somewhere. That shows something. But to your point, all he's shown so far is what a crap car they're running.
Yeah. I mean, I think, we're going to get 10 more chances to see.
Yep. With that, so let's go to fourth period here. Let's talk about Clint Bowyer's performance. I mean, obviously winning that race. Why did I write it seemed like a matter of time? I mean, he's already won a race this year. It's not like it's a matter of time.
Sometimes
wins
notes
something.
don't make sense.
But yeah, I don't know what I was writing. I was trying to put these notes together. But let's rate his I don't know. Rate what? Nothing that I wrote makes sense. Nothing. It's like
Oh, this is awesome.
no, it's as if like Chase Elliott won the race. The way that my notes go.
This is live internet, TV, radio.
Yeah, this
ladies and gentlemen.
This is current Rusty telling old Rusty, what the hell were you thinking? Doing this, but let's talk about Clint Boyer
And
for a
you
minute.
never even sent me back the notes, so I don't have anything.
Oh no, I did on the G chat.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, you got him on the G chat.
Okay.
Aaron, talk to us about Clint. How his performance so far this year, and capping it off with a win this past weekend, and what it took to get that win. You've sort of hinted about it that he was up there the whole time, but what puts him ahead of Kevin Harvick this race?
Well, I'm going to give Clint overall an A for the year, and that's only because his teammate Kevin Harvick's an A+ and has been setting the bar. But 2 wins already. I mean, he's never won more than 3 in a season. We're not even halfway through this one, and he's already got 2. He's got 4 top 5s already, which is only 2 off the mark he managed all last year. His 10.7 average finish so far is the best of his career.
Wow.
If he can sustain it. And he's just running up front, contending, and just to throw one last stat at you, the most he's ever led lap-wise in a season's 400, and he's already up to 308 this year. So just what we're seeing from Clint this year, and it's weird to think about because Harvick's been so good, it's easy to kind of lose the perspective on it. But Clint Boyer's having one of the best seasons of his entire career. I'm not just talking about like the last few years, you think about the lull. I'm talking about even like 2008, 2009, when Boyer was up there and we consider him capable of winning a lot of races, 2010, 2012, he was running little worse, I would say, than he's doing right now. For him to be running that well, I think speaks to how hard he's worked, how good that team has gotten, how strong the Fords are, and the talent that I think, have kind of forgotten that Clint Boyer has behind the wheel. I mean, we saw it the other day. Kevin Harvick was coming after him. He wanted to win that race, and there toward the end, I mean, how many times before in that race had Harvick blown by the guy who was trying the pit strategy and won the race? He did it taking the lead. I mean, he did it to Paul Menard. He did it to Casey Kane. When the time come to try to beat out Boyer just held on to it that little bit longer, forced the issue, and was able to hold the spot, and it made the difference. So I think we saw something there. I think that in a minor way was a bit of a statement from Boyer that this ain't just a one-horse race for Stewart-Haas. If things kind of work out the right way, Boyer could be right there in this championship hunt too.
So I'm remembering now what I meant by it seemed like a matter of time, and I didn't mean like it seemed like a matter of time till he wins a race like Elliott Sadler in the Xfinity Series right now. It was more a matter of time till he gets this kind of season, Sherwin, where he is running these top 10, and you said 10.7 average, and Aaron, you were talking about how back in 08, 09, the potential that was there. And so, and even in the last year, it felt like, boy, he's onto something here. We should see something. We're seeing the fruits of that labor right now. So yeah, I mean, I can't give him more than or any less than an A+ right now for what he's doing.
Well, and so this is one of those kind of wins where, like, normally if it was a one-off deal, people would say, rain shortened race, whatever. And then they did, they took the 2-tire strategy, and that played out well for him. But he has validated that they have speed all year long. So This doesn't feel the same way. This actually almost feels like validation in a way, even though it's an odd set of circumstances. It's like, no, this is his second win. He's arguably the 3rd or 4th fastest car every weekend. And we know how that shakes out and how you finish. That if you're the 3rd or 4th best car, having a 10.7 average finish is actually really, really good.
Yeah.
Because so many weird things happen in the course of a 500 or a 400-mile race. Or in this case, 300 miles or whatever it was we ran.
So fifth period, I think I made fun of somebody for asking us a question about this last week, and now I'm going to talk about it. Playoffs? We're talking about playoffs, Sherwin. Let's talk about playoffs because after I had probably made fun of somebody for asking us questions about playoffs, you go in and look, and when you think about it, 16 drivers going into playoffs, 10 drivers right now that are above board or in that are in don't have any wins, and we continue to talk about Jimmy Johnson. He has a 50-point margin, like he's in by 50 points right now over a race worth. Chase 35 points in. And then we got Jones and Bowman, and then on the bubble outside, Stenhouse, Menard, McMurray, and to a degree Suarez, but he's minus 66. So the playoff picture, at least, seems to be taking fold here with narrowing who's in and who's out. Aaron, let's see what your thoughts are to start with. Are we too early to talk about playoffs? Is it? Do we think we're going to see that rogue win that gets somebody in? What's the story?
Well, now, boys, I do a weekly piece talking about the playoffs that starts after Daytona, so it hasn't been too early to talk about playoffs for me all year. But
and Mick Rose it was Mick Rose's question, so shout out Mick. He reminded us in the YouTube that it was me telling him his playoff question was too early.
That's funny.
Well, thank you, Mick. They were just tabling it for me because they knew I like talking about playoffs, Mick, I promise.
Yeah, totally plain.
I don't think it's too early at all. I mean, we're entering the summer. We're down to, let's see, Michigan was what, the 15th race, 16th race? So we're down to the last 10 or 11. So if you think about it, we're in like the chase to the playoffs right now, for lack of a better term. We got about, I just threw that out there. We got
my
about
brother
10
Daryl
races
and my other
left.
brother Daryl.
We needed that vortex theory on Sunday. Anyways, you look, and you've got now a lot of your guys are looking pretty safe. You look at Keselowski. I mean, he's 187 points up. He doesn't have much anything to worry about outside of getting hurt or something crazy. Same for guys like Busch, Hamlin, Blaney, Larson, even, and this I guess he would call it a surprise, but even Eric Almirola, 106 points up right now, having quite a redemptive season. But
that's really cool.
If you're a Jimmy Johnson, or a Chase Elliott, or especially Eric Jones or an Alex Bowman right now, there's a lot to be nervous about going into these summer months. I think the entirety of Hendrick Motorsports have got to be on alert because they're one summer struggle away from potentially having nobody in these playoffs. So there's a lot to watch for. I look at a driver like Menard, who's had a lot of inconsistencies, had some DNFs, some things not go their way. But as he showed last week when they got him up front, that Wood Brothers 21's got some speed. He could definitely contend for a playoff position and maybe even play first-round spoiler if he gets in. You look at, Jamie McMurray had probably the worst start to the season in his career, fell back to the point where I was almost wanting to write him off. I think he was like almost 100 points off the bubble at one point, and he's cut that down to 48, which doesn't seem like much now, but if he can continue to cut out 5 points here and 10 points there, by the time we get to the end of the summer, he's going to be in a position where he might be able to contend for it, especially this year when we've got 4 or 5 guys that are winning all the races and kind of keeping the points positions open for a big swath of the field. I think if you're somebody like a William Byron or a Daniel Suarez or even like a Ryan Newman right now, you're already starting to think, oh, man, if we can't rattle off a couple top 5s or top 10s here in the next couple weeks, we might have to start going full sail and trying to play a strategy game and win a race. So I think you need to start watching it now. I think when we get to Daytona at the end of June / going into July, I think that's going to be the point where teams fully switch gears and either A, you're trying to points race and really go for it on points, or B, you're going all in for a win. I think that will be the defining moment of the summer.
And that was kind of where I was wanting to go with the whole thing where 10 people or 10 drivers don't have a win right now. It feels more like it's points racing time. And although we kind of made fun of you for the chase to the playoffs, you're not. I think there's a good parallel there in that there's people playing survival games right now. Jimmy Johnson, if he plays survival, he's in. If he does something crazy, tries to make a move, and it costs him 30-second place or whatever, that could put a huge dent in those points. So I think this is unique in that it's one of the first times, Sherwin, that I think we've seen people at this point being able to think about points racing, which we don't. There's a lot to be said about that.
I absolutely love it,
and I like it too. Yeah. I like it because the strategies are all over. So throwing it old school. So we'll see, Sherwin.
I love that. I love that points racing is back in the discussion because that's exactly what NASCAR tried to science out, and they completely failed.
Yeah, well, when the domination by these drivers is so strong, it turns into this points race and stuff. With that, let's go to recess.
Woo! Recess!
Recess this week. Mark Martin is sponsoring Jordan Anderson with his podcast. Aaron, have you heard about that and your reaction?
Yeah, I've seen Jordan sharing some stuff on it, and I think Mark retweeted it. One, I love Mark's podcast, so I'm all for anything that gets that Mark out in the world, especially since he loves some short track racing still, which I am fully on board with. And two, it's just cool to see Jordan be able to bring on some support. I think we all know how hard he and that little group are working to try to make it to the track each week, so I'm all for it. I think it's a good move.
Yeah.
How about Brian Keselowski going over there to help him?
Oh, that's really
now
cool.
a Jordan Anderson employee.
Yeah.
It's
You want to try some of that?
definitely cool.
Yeah.
Go for it. So I've got the Jordan Anderson bracelet on as I'm trying to hand Sherwin a mixer for his next drink. So totally in. I think it's really cool, Sherwin. I'm not saying that like anybody's taking ideas, but I really like the parallels in that. Hey, we're also sponsoring folks, and he's sponsored. Like, it's really cool to see other podcasts get in on this same sort of thing. Now, obviously, Mark Martin has way more resources and reach and all that. And what I mean by all that is money. But it's really cool to see the support just beyond him getting out. And there was a while, if you remember, right after he retired, it was like, where's Mark Martin at? We hadn't seen Mark Martin in forever. And then suddenly he sort of shows up 3 or 4 years later, and he's like, hey, I'm back, and I'm totally in. And he's in on Roush. He's in on the podcasting. He's in on now. He's sponsoring folks. This is really cool to see Mark Martin coming back in here.
Well, I think we talked about this. I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast or maybe just
we
BS.
did. I know where you're going.
Yeah,
but we did.
Talk about Mark was like very respectful of Jordan's capabilities as a race car driver. So this is a really good fit, and I hope that it leads Jordan to a place where he's not just getting to the racetrack, that it's more about how he performs when he's on the racetrack, and that the getting there is not as challenging as it used to be.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm all about it. A+ right here.
A+ on recess.
I am introducing a new – so, I mean, we've gone 5 periods in recess.
Oh, you added a segment there.
What happens after recess if you've been a bad boy?
Oh, man. I got this a few times.
You might be sitting in detention at the end of the thing. I just wanted to bring up detention this week. We used to call this cheaters.
We did have a cheaters,
but I do like detention.
People
right
don't
now.
like the word cheater because they don't understand we mean it like
lovingly,
passionately. Like,
but we'll call it detention. Splitters with JGR. 3 drivers: Hamlin, Kyle Busch, and Eric Jones. 3 cars failing inspection on the splitters. Aaron, what's up with that?
Yeah, I don't know. That seemed almost like I got you type of deal. Like it seemed like, I don't know if maybe they were just all trying something. You throw one out there standard, kind of so you got one in the hole, and then they tried something with the 3. I'm guessing NASCAR caught them. They didn't deny it. They just kind of said, all right, we'll move on. And if nothing else, it made for an exciting time. We got to watch them 3 Gibbs cars drive through the field. They got the speed to do it. Busch came all the way up to, I think he finished 4th, right? And then we had poor Eric Jones drives through the field, gets a penalty on pit road, goes all the way back again, decides he wants to up the difficulty level, drives through him a second time, and he was going to try to contend for a top 10. Therefore, everything went south for him. But no, I don't know. I think all these teams are trying something. It's not atypical for one of them to get busted for something like this. And NASCAR caught the Gibbs boys this time. They gave them a little slap on the wrist. You're going to lose your car chiefs at Sonoma. So they'll figure that out. They'll get through Sonoma next weekend, and they'll be back. And then I'm sure about a month from now, you'll have a different team. You'll get 2 or 3 guys busted for, and then we'll be talking about them.
Yeah, I'm surprised they went with 3 cars to do this. Like usually, you might like sneak one in, throw it on Eric Jones' car, see what happens, or throw it on or Hamlin's car. I mean, he's he cheats all the time, so
you stay cheating.
Oh, dude.
So give it a try. I was surprised that it was all right. Well, let's do this very gray area of the rule book 3 times. Sherwin?
It's interesting because they basically started the year with the splitter change saying, y'all don't mess with splitters anymore.
Yeah.
Stay away from messing with these things. And
don't so I can still kill chickens.
Yes. And apparently they think they can still kill chickens. So they done found out the hard way, And really the one who can't really afford for this kind of nonsense to be going on is Hamlin.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's plenty
Yes.
fast enough. He's probably getting in on points if we don't get, but a handful of winners down the stretch in the last 11. But they're the ones that can ill afford to be losing points and losing car chiefs, and
Yeah.
they haven't won a race.
Yeah. Very good point.
Yeah. I would say the same about Jones, by the way. I mean, he's 14th in points. If he would have had a really bad run at Michigan or got caught in a wreck there's a chance he wouldn't even be sitting in the playoff grid right now. So where he's at in the bubble right there, he can't afford too much to happen either.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're 100% correct about that. Everybody have a drink. I guess just in my mind, it's like if Eric Jones makes the playoffs, that's a gravy spot from my perspective. Like, because we don't he hadn't won yet, we don't necessarily expect him to be in the playoffs. You expect Hamlin to contend for titles every year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he's proven in his
That's true.
past.
Yeah. So with that, let's go to the questions. We got a bunch of questions this week, which is awesome. Thank y'all for sending in questions, and be sure to do it every week. William Soke at William Soquet. He says, "Are more Xfinity truck doubleheaders a good idea? We're going into Iowa this weekend." And William, I mean, yes.
Well, so the way that I had to ask him the secondary question, the way he posed it is it should we have it more often to where Xfinity and Truck are in one place and Cup is either running somewhere else, or in this case this weekend they're not running at all?
Yes, again.
I think the answer is yes.
Yeah, I love it. It naturally prevents the Cup drivers from taking over in a lot of ways too, but also you get to see these tracks like Iowa. Let's go to more of these things. Let's do more of this stuff. Yes,
next week with the trucks.
Yes, you remember when we did Mexico, the road course?
Ironically, it was Hamlin that won that race.
Well, I can't win them all, but it's just cool to see all these other tracks. And
he was still a not well known like superstar Cup driver. At that
gotcha.
point. It was like his first or second year in Cup.
Yeah. So, Aaron, what your thoughts?
Well, I think it depends on what you think the Xfinity Series and the Truck Series are. As somebody who watches a lot of other tours, I'm thinking of the Road to Indy when I mentioned it. If you think of the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series as a standalone series with veterans and people like that contending against youth, you think of like a Sadler or back in the day like a Hornaday or Skinner, then yes, let's get them to these smaller tracks. Let's get them with these doubleheaders where they get a chance to shine and maybe have the Cup guys go do their own thing, where both series can kind of get their own unique cultures and their own unique cast of characters. At that point, yes. There are some people, though, I know who think of it more as just a pure, I guess you would say, a pure breeding ground for the Cup Series. And if that is the case, then I almost think you need to run where the Cup guys are and do it like the IndyCar does with the Mazda Road to Indy, which is a pure ladder system, who literally they run at IndyCar's tracks on the same weekend as IndyCar. So the drivers, like the team owners and all the people, have their eyes on those races, and they get to see those talents come up. And they even award a scholarship to the winner of the championship so they can go run the next series up. So to me, it depends on what you think of those tours. I personally, with the way NASCAR's history goes and the way those series are, I would rather see more doubleheaders like that, or just more standalones in general, just so we can get a chance for those drivers to shine, and two, for them to go to some facilities that maybe don't get the NASCAR love at the same level that they currently do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I think even if it is a training ground or whatever, I mean, look at any other sport. I know we're comparing to stick and ball, of course, but there's no minor league teams playing in Yankee Stadium or Wrigley Field or anything like that. So obviously a whole different thing. But you get so much more for a fan like me to see more more tracks and different tracks and seeing what's going on. I'm a big fan of that. So. Second question from Andrew Kansian at KHANTZIAN. Are you surprised that more teams didn't take a strategy gamble? It seemed to work for a few laps in the case of mid-pack cars like the 95 and the 21. Aaron, give us your thoughts.
I was absolutely dumbfounded. If I was anywhere in the back half of the field on that last set of stops, and we know rain is close, which they did. We could hear them talking about it on the radio saying, hey, this might only be 5-10 minutes away. I don't see what you had to lose. I mean, if I'm let's say I mean, Casey Kane tried it earlier in the race. I was surprised they brought him in there at the end of that last caution before the finishing one. But let's say you are even like a William Byron. I mean, the kid showed speed the whole race. If they ever could have got him in clean air, he had enough speed where it looked like he probably could have held his own. Why not throw that kid out there maybe on 2 tires and see if maybe you can luck yourself into a win?
Mm-hmm.
If you are, I mean, even if you're like a David Reagan or somebody, you're not going to fall back any further than you already were. I don't remember if they were on the lead lap or not, but if I would have been outside of the top 15 on that last pit stop, I would have been trying some kind of strategy play just because really you don't have that much to lose. But I'm not the one getting paid the money or calling the shots, so I'm no person to sit back and say, y'all should have done this. But that's my opinion. I definitely would have gone for something.
Sure, and I share that same sentiment. I was a little surprised there weren't, somebody, even if they don't get the restart or whatever, and they finish. I'm surprised we didn't see some more. Oh, really? He finished top 5? Wow. Oh, it was a rain out, and he did some crazy strategy. I gotcha. But yeah, I was surprised we didn't see a little bit more of that.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the finishing order, and I'm seeing Ross Chastain's name, and I'm like, yeah, that's a guy I'm surprised they didn't take some kind of chance.
If he was on the lead lap, yeah.
Yeah, he was definitely on the lead lap.
Oh, cool.
He finished just a couple spots behind Casey, and he finished 26th. So I think what surprised me, looking back on the whole thing, is how the TV spent 2 or 3 minutes talking about how nobody had chosen the highlight from the high line or the low line from the lead all day, thinking that Harvick was the leader because they didn't see that Boyer took 2 tires and got the lead. It's like, how do you miss that as a TV production?
Good question. With that question, we'll move on to our next.
Yeah.
I like the rhetoricals and stop there. Mick Rose at GoDucks42 _ Mick. What's up, Mick? So a question for Aaron. And maybe this is like a trying to get some information. Like it sounds like this is leading a little, not leading, but it sounds like Mick is trying to get some advice here. If you could only go to one race during the Indiana Midget Week, which track would you recommend, Aaron?
GYATK. It's a phrase we know. I don't think y'all don't mind cussing on this show, do you? It's
stay away from the words with "use" in them, is what we say.
Okay, y'all won't mind this one then. That's a phrase in Indiana for Kokomo Speedway. GYATK. So it means get your ass to Kokomo.
I thought that's what you were going to say.
It's a driver's favorite. Yeah, it's a driver's favorite. You see guys like Larson and them all love it and talk about it and want to come back to it. I think it's a tremendous track, and if I could only recommend one, I would definitely say Kokomo. Now, that said, if you can go to all of them, you're not going to be disappointed with any of them. The personal homegrown kid, wanted to say Gas City, but I'm not going to lie. Kokomo is probably the track, especially since it's the finale.
I like that.
I haven't heard anything but good about Kokomo.
I like that they have a get your ass to Kokomo. Like that's their thing. I like that. So there you go, Kokomo. Sherwin, we might have to get on a little airplane and see what happens over at Kokomo at some
Especially
point.
for Midget Week. I
mean,
we could figure out a whole week's worth of crap to do, or at least like a Thursday, Friday weekend thing.
Yeah, I'm in. Frank Villat at Frank Villat. What's up, Frank? So Frank asks, I like this from like media to media. Aaron, are you blocked on social media by any NASCAR personalities? And if you are or were, would it change? Has it changed, or would it change the way you interacted with them in person?
Well, I'm not blocked by any NASCAR personalities now. How about we say that?
Okay.
I can give a personal anecdote that can and I never have figured out how this happened. But back in 2016, maybe late 2015, I went to look at a tweet a friend had told me about from Marty Smith, and he had randomly blocked me. To this day, I don't know what caused it, but how I got around it was when I went to cover the Daytona 500 the next February. My media center spot was literally so Daytona, they have little rows, and you're on either side of each other.
Yeah.
There's 4 rows of that, I think. I was literally right on the other side of Marty Smith. So I kind of talked to him, came cool with him over the course of the week. And then, I think it was Friday of Speed Weeks, I finally was like, hey, Marty, I got a question for you. He probably had no idea, and I'm like, could you just let me know why you blocked me? And I don't think he even had a clue who I was or why he blocked. He probably saw one of my terrible puns or dad jokes and went, "That's enough. I can't follow that boy." I do my best Marty impersonation there. Yeah, I don't know what it was, but he unfollowed me on the spot. I never asked him to. I was surprised he did. And from that point on, we've been good.
That's awesome.
Now, knock on wood, I'm sure I'll say something dumb enough to get somebody to block me again eventually. But from what I know right now, there's nobody that blocks me.
Awesome. That's funny.
I
can tell you somebody in the media center I made no effort to greet. Everybody knows who that is.
Yeah, you don't even have to say the name.
Don't even have to say it.
We're not even going to say it. But you know, I'm not blocked, and like I even threw something out there, threw a little bit of shade just to test the waters, just to see if it would happen. And he didn't block me, and I was like, huh, all right, well. Now he wasn't tagged in it, but his name was like totally
I got you
in there.
Oh,
so I guess he's only looking at people from Roger says that person from Fort Plain, New York. I'm not sure
I
where
don't know
he's from, but
it don't matter.
You're probably thinking of the same person if you're thinking people. That's it.
You threw it out there. You went fishing. You just used the wrong bait.
Yeah, right. I had a spinner. He's looking for worms.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Oh man. All right. Rich Ticks at NASCAR BTW. What's up, Rich? He
That's
says
behind the wall, by the way.
Behind the wall, yes, sir. Off the wall topic, since it's an off week coming up in NASCAR, we have the World Cup starting, and you know we're both soccer fans. Sherwin's been one for a long time, and was definitely a big part of me getting into it. But U.S. men's national team is not in it, and then he put a poop emoji right next to that. So, yep.
I was impressed that MS Word actually recognizes poop emojis.
I have this in Notepad, and now it does poop emojis, I guess.
It.
So there you go.
Well, so Rich is a big soccer fan out of Minneapolis area.
Yeah.
And so he's super stoked about Minnesota getting a team, much like we're super stoked. And they're also the United, so it's Minnesota United and Atlanta United.
I went to the Minnesota-Atlanta game. We whipped their ass.
Yeah, we did. We're a little bit further along than they are, but that's okay. That's part of it.
It's all good. So who are you pulling for in the World Cup? Aaron, are you following along at all? Are you rooting for anybody?
So the World Cup's my favorite tournament in all the sports. I get so hyped for it every year. It's what turned me into a soccer fan, and I don't know that I have a team. I think Peru have the coolest jerseys, and I read a story on Slate about why I should root for them, but to be honest with you, I don't necessarily have a team this time around with us dropping the ball and not even making it, so I'm just kind of sitting back and watching.
I am doing the exact same thing, and there's not a whole lot of sports, Sherwin, that I watch where I'm not rooting for somebody. Like, I'll watch football. I can't watch baseball unless it's like the World Series or something. I can't watch there's a lot of sports I just can't watch for the love of the sport. I got to have somebody. I got to be waving a flag or wearing a T-shirt or a hat or something.
Rooting for or against.
Or against, for sure. Yeah. Well, which means I'm rooting for one of them.
Right, exactly. It's the same thing.
But so yeah, this one I'm the same way. I'm just kind of sitting back watching because here's the thing: my other kind of like team that I like is Netherlands, and they're not in it either. So I've liked them because I met some people from the Netherlands. Shoot, it's been 10 years ago now during the World Cup, and they were so cool and they were so into it in the same way that we're into like USA. They're like Netherlands, yeah. And so I'm like, all right, I appreciate that, and they were cool people. So I don't have anybody. I did watch the Russia-Saudi Arabia game today. Russia won.
Somebody got their ass whipped
5-0. So
5-0.
Yeah. So
how did? Let me ask you this: if we're doing random draw, how does Russia end up with Egypt and Saudi Arabia in their group? Because it's not random. That's why.
Right. I mean, that's,
host nation has to go on for it to be a good show.
Yeah. And
they got Putin a favorable group.
Yes.
Putin a favorable. Here's the thing. I don't hate that either. I know so many people hate that, and I think people are justified in hating it because they call it a random draw, or whatever they call it, But the fact that we have like Portugal, Spain tomorrow, in a group together, this has turned into a soccer podcast now. But that's kind of like, you know what? If you do a random draw, like maybe put. you know how when
You have to have some isolation built into your algorithm.
Right,
Where
exactly.
Portugal and Spain
It's a
are
good
not
way to
in the
put it.
same group.
That's what I mean. You remember when you were young and like you're picking basketball teams, but these two guys can't be on the same team. It doesn't matter who else is on the teams, but those two guys can't be on the same team.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, in terms of like fairness of competition.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so I thought that
I was never one of those guys.
I had that exact same conversation 3 hours ago with Kepner. We looked up and it said Spain versus Portugal, first round World Cup. You're like, huh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, to answer the question, I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I've been a Holland fan way back, all the way back to the '94 Cup that we hosted. Holland was my team. They're one step removed from being a winner, an overall winner. They've played in a couple of finals, never really got it done. So Holland is by far my number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And so since they're not in it, and by the way, Italy didn't make it either, right?
Right.
So you got these two
Italia.
World Cup nations. Italy's won the World Cup 3 times, right? They didn't even make the damn tournament.
Yeah.
Now that'll never happen again because the next cycle is going to have 48 teams. We're expanding by 50%.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's going to be a weird
another
deal
whole
there,
round.
and purists are going to be pissed. But anyway, to me, there's two intriguing stories. It's intriguing that the former Yugoslav republic has done so well in soccer. I can only imagine if they were still Yugoslavia, how good they would be because they put 2 teams in. I like to root for Croatia. I don't know why. I just do. Mm-hmm. And Iceland. Dude, that's
Iceland.
I'm all up in
There
some
you go.
Iceland.
There you go. You know
There we
what?
go.
I've changed my mind. I'm changing my answer. I'm rooting for Iceland. That is awesome. I remember when they made it, and I had that same feeling, and I forgot that they made it just now.
Yeah, I mean, if Ireland was in it, I would probably go Ireland.
There you
but
go.
Iceland, there's like 500,000 people on that island. That's a volcano.
Yeah.
and a glacier. It's a volcano and a glacier. That's about it. And they put a team in the World Cup.
Yeah.
And Italy didn't. So just keep that in
Think about it.
perspective.
Out of Left Field Podcast at Out of LF Podcast. If you're drunk and a mosquito bites you, does it get drunk? Aaron.
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna hope for yes. You would like to think Mosquito's gonna go through all that effort. He can share in a little bit of the buzz. So I'm gonna say yes. But if he tries to get me, he's probably also gonna get dead because I'm gonna smack the crap out of him.
There you go. Sherwin.
What was that? Well, so I haven't done enough research to say this is 100% true, but someone very smart once told me that mosquitoes actually have a sense of either smell or viscosity or whatever it is, that if you are above a certain ABV, you will not get bitten by a mosquito
that
because
so?
your blood will
Really?
kill it.
Hmm.
So I'm not saying that is like written in stone somewhere, but I have lived through this, that at some point in the night when you're drinking around a campfire, you stop getting bit by mosquitoes.
Huh. I need to.
I'll be darned.
I just need to be drunk all summer.
Well, we'll
so-
test this theory tomorrow or Friday, Saturday when we're outside playing with the egg.
Oh yeah, we got all kinds of mosquitoes
Because
back
we'll start
there.
the day off
Yeah, there's woods back there.
relatively sober.
Yep. We'll see.
I say relatively.
relatively.
Relative.
Yep. We'll see what
But
happens.
by the end of the day, it's going to be a show.
Oh man, let's do this part real quick. We're gonna gas it up. Going to Iowa with Xfinity and trucks. Aaron, what do you expect to see out in Iowa? And what's your big storylines?
Well, I just love Iowa, first of all. So shout out to Iowa Speedway. That track is so much fun. And I almost feel like it gets to establish its own identity because it only does the Xfinity and the trucks and IndyCar. And because Cup doesn't go there, they kind of have this weird identity as almost like this niche track or like, I guess, a hardcore fans racetrack. And that makes it kind of fun. But I think one of the things you're going to see this weekend, this is one of the last regular season Xfinity races we get where you don't really have to worry about Cup guys in the field too much.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be very crucial. I think you're going to see a lot of the Xfinity guys trying really hard to get that win. And one guy I've been keeping my eye on I think we've all been keeping our eye on him for a while now is Elliott Sadler. That dude keeps getting closer and closer. He's got a huge points lead, but he hasn't put a dub up in I think it's been about 2 years now. So, I mean, for him, this is a big opportunity. It's a chance to kind of get through where the Cup guys aren't around. We're being best in class is enough to be in victory lane. I think that's going to be one to watch.
How drunk would Spotter Brett be to have back-to-back? Like, think about that. We'll have to ask him.
Knee walking drunk.
Knee walking drunk.
Winning back-to-back and then going to wine country. I don't see what could possibly go wrong.
Nothing wrong with that.
Oh, man, that sounds
ideal. I love it.
Yeah, be watching that. And then I also, on the Xfinity side, I'm curious to see how a couple of these young guys do. We got Riley Earpst, who's normally in the ARCA Racing Series. He's going to be driving that 18 Toyota, so, step out of ARCA, step right into the hot rod there. We've got Justin Haley.
Yeah.
Debuting with GMS Racing, and he's out of little old town of Winamac, Indiana, so the Hoosier in me always keeps an eye on that kid. I've been watching him since he was like, I think 13 or 14 or something like that, so it's kind of cool to see his growth. John Hunter Nemechek's going to be out there, and I think he's got a legitimate shot to win this thing with how strong he's driven so far. So there's a great blend of veterans looking to break through and young stars looking to gain experience at Iowa, and that to me is what makes this weekend so much fun to watch.
Hell yeah! What's unique about Iowa as a track? Like when you go there, what's different?
Well, it's a smidgen bigger than what you would consider the standard short track. It's not a Bristol or it's not a Martinsville, so there's a little bit more speed build up, but it's not a 1.5 mile either. It kind of hits that sweet spot between like a Bristol and say Atlanta. So it's such a unique facility in that regard that it puts on a show that's a little different from what you see everywhere else. You kind of see drivers are able to race side by side a little bit. I mean, passing is definitely doable. It's not a given though. I mean, you're not blowing by them like it's a plate race or something like that. You've got to earn every pass, but you can move forward. It's got just enough of that short track vibe. You can lay the bumper to somebody, and it's generally acceptable. I just think it's a ton of fun, man. It's a very unique race to kind of take in, and I hate that I haven't been out there yet. I've got to get out there for one of these races sometime.
Oh man, I figured you'd be there. I mean, it's in that you're in the Midwest. It's in the Midwest. It's got to be like what, an hour drive.
That's how it works, right?
Yeah. That's what I figured.
You go by 3 cornfords, and there's another racetrack.
Yeah. It's like us in Texas. I mean, we're in the South. Texas in the South. Shoot, it's got to be an hour
place,
drive.
Really.
Yeah, nothing like that.
I was actually going to I'm taking my dad to see Steve Miller Band tomorrow night. So
nice.
No trip to Iowa for me this year. Not this, anyways.
Love it. With that, Sherwin, did we get a Stranger Staying this week?
We did.
We did. All right. Well, you're going to have to read it because I didn't get it. So this is going to be a surprise to at least 2 of us.
So are we doing picks or no?
Oh, I guess we could do picks. When it comes to Xfinity, I'm going to pick Elliott Sadler every damn time until he freaking wins a race. You know what I mean?
Well, I get you.
Dadgummit, I need to see that. Aaron, who you got?
I'm going to say Christopher Bell.
Okay.
I think Bell's going to win this weekend.
Good call.
Sherwin?
I'm going to stay homer, too, and go Kaz Grala. I think a track like Iowa's a really worn surface. It's a very similar track to Richmond, slightly bigger, slightly flatter. I think driver input is going to matter. I heard some really neat things from Tony Uri Jr. on Kelly Crandall's podcast about how ready they are to not just show up at the racetrack. They're for real.
Yeah.
They're going to make it count. And I believe that to be the case.
We need to reach back out to Kaz, see if he wants to talk to us.
He can do that.
Turns out, be on the long list there.
I think as soon as they make some kind of sponsorship announcement that allows them to finish the year, so I guess that's what I'm rooting for. Is they're in their fourth race in a row. They said they were definitely doing 3, and they maybe wouldn't be able to do 4 without some help. But they've run well enough that they're going to a 4th because they feel like they're on the verge of getting that relationship that they need. So I'm going to be rooting hard for old Kaz while he's been delaying his entrance to the greatest technological institute on earth.
Yes, sir.
And so
Go Jackets.
Kaz it is.
All right. So there we go. Stranger Staying. Let's do it, Sherwin.
All right, here we go.
What do we have?
All right, Aaron, this one's going to be real tough. You're really going to have to reach down deep, get some gumption. Who is the coolest person you have ever met at a tweet up?
The coolest person I've ever met at a tweet up?
Yep.
Well, One, I feel like it's a setup. First of all,
Present company excluded.
President NASCAR excluded. Man, just because I know it might make her mad, I'm gonna say the orange cone. Very cool to meet the orange cone. He's a great guy. Yeah, let's go with that.
All right, sounds good.
Love it. Sherwin?
The coolest person I've ever met, from a fanboy perspective. So I thought getting to shake Bobby Allison's hand was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, the coolest person for me that I've ever met at a tweet up was Ryan McGee.
Oh, McGee. Yeah, good call. So when I'm thinking of cool, I'm thinking of like somebody who just owns it and is cool. And for me, we've met him multiple times now this year, and he keeps saying he'll be on the podcast. But Ross Chastain is just a cool ass dude. Like,
and
he's
he goes
so
to every
neat.
podcast.
Every tweet up.
Tweet up. Sorry.
Tweet
Yeah.
up.
Every podcast.
What do I have on the
Podcast.
brain?
Yeah, except for
no.
ours.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Ross. Yeah, no kidding. So he stumbles up to the not stumbles. That's not fair. That's not fair at all. Because especially given the connotation of our show, he rolls in from an appearance he had to do or meeting or something. So he's at the very end, and there's only like maybe 12 of us left.
Yep.
Right, and he starts talking, and Jeff asks him about the package and what it really meant, and then he looks over and he sees me, and he goes, "Soon."
Soon. I love it.
So hopefully we'll have Ross on before you know it.
I think that's the other side of it, is that we keep giving him crap, and he doesn't realize that we keep coming to races,
Yeah.
and we're going to continue to give him crap. But yeah, he's just such a cool dude. So
Yeah, so he came out in the
hopefully at some
rain
point
at Atlanta
soon.
when we had 7 people at the tweet up.
yeah.
And he was one of them. We saw him at Phoenix.
Yep.
We saw him at the autograph section at Talladega. Mm-hmm. We didn't go to the Bristol tweet up because it was a rainy mess, I think. I don't
Yes.
even know if it even happened. And then, of course, I saw him at Michigan, and it was fun. We got like a rapport now.
Yeah. I love it. With that, Aaron, why don't you close us out? Tell us where folks can find you and what's going on.
So, if you have pretty much any media under the sun, just look up the name Aaron Bearden, or Aaron Bearden93 is the social media handle for just about everything short of MySpace. If I could lock that one back down, I probably would. But I write for a little bit of everything. It can range from kicking the tires for NASCAR, Motorsports Tribune for some open wheel, do some stories for IndyCar.com from time to time, short track scene. Oh, geez. Wherever, if there's a race near me and somebody who will credential me, I'll try my darndest to show up at it. That's the way I say it. So pick a series, just give me an outlet, and I'll make it happen. But, yeah, Aaron Bearden 93. And keep listening to these guys. They ain't half bad at what they do.
PETM.
Beer the beard.
PETM PhD Aaron Bearden. We want to thank him for being on the show, and it was pretty short notice this week, so it's that was awesome of you to come on. Appreciate you being here. With that, let's close this thing out. Sherwin, everybody knows where they can find us. PETMPodcast.com, at PETM Podcast, on the Twitter, Instagram, everywhere else. There's all kinds of stuff. As always, I'm Tailgate Mayor Rusty Wallace at Tailgate Mayor Sherwin.
And I'm the pregame engineer, Andrew Sherwin, at Pregame Engineer. And over there on Instagram, I'm Andrew L. Sherwin. That's like my real name.
Ooh, look out. Lawson in there.
Yeah, well, that's what that L's for. Scottish!
So with us, be sure to send in your questions every week. Be sure to follow us and everything like that.
Hashtag Ask PETM.
That's right. Till then, we're going to be pretty active on social media this weekend, hanging out and doing all kinds of grilling and BSing and whatnot. So
Watching
we'll
racing, watching soccer, watching baseball.
hang out with us, and we'll hang out with y'all. So looking forward to it, and we'll talk to y'all next week. Thanks for joining. Woo!
Give it. NASCAR, dude.
There it is, all done.
Boom.
Oh, beast. Thank you, man. Grandson had a blast listening in. We had a blast talking and just BSing. And, We always say it. We started this whole thing because we're like, well, we'd sit here and talk about NASCAR. Let's do it some more. I was thinking the other day, Sherwin, it was funny because, and we'll do sort of the post show for the folks who are still hanging on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, happy Father's Day this weekend. By the way, we kind of
about
that.
Yeah, true.
Oh well, we're not fathers, so it's easy for us to forget.
Yeah, exactly.
We do have them though, so maybe we should remember.
I don't even remember what I was going to talk about.
I'm sorry.
F it. No, it's all good. What was I thinking about earlier
yes, Roger,
this week?
we are going to go scare the cats immediately.
Yes. There's two cats.
There's going to
They
be a
need
lot
scaring.
of cat scaring.
Actually, Murph is cool. Sushi, she's going to get
Sushi's going to get terrorized.
Straight up terrorized. Yeah. This will be fun. What was I thinking about podcast wise earlier this week? I don't remember. Whatever.
So did
Not
you listen to Brandon from Friday at the track?
Yes, I did. I listened to
I convinced
everything.
him to leave that thing in the end. You know how I sometimes have that brain fart where I say something right at the end?
Uh-huh.
I was like, dude, you got to leave that in. He's like, yeah, I'm leaving that in.
Awesome. Let's see. I'm saving this all down. So Sherwin, you got to keep Aaron kind of entertained for a moment.
So are you actually going to a track this weekend, Aaron? You probably already said this in the show, and I didn't even hear it.
No, since I'm doing this, so I was gonna go to Iowa.
You just said
Steve Miller Band thing.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get home until I don't know 1 a.m. So I don't want to get up at like 2:30 and drive to Iowa Speedway after that.
Yeah, that's probably not a good idea.
My game plan, my game plan is to sit back, relax, and see if I can watch all 24 hours of Le Mans. That is my weekend strategy.
That's a hell of what's the word? Attempt, endeavor.
Oh yeah, I want to cover it someday, so I got to start training myself now. Got to get that down.
I did the Joker as a live band karaoke one time. We did like the karaoke challenge where I didn't know what I was going to sing, and this was a live band doing the karaoke.
Oh, jeez!
And so somebody picked a song for me, and they picked the Joker. And I'm not saying that I did very good, but it was when I saw it was a Joker, I'm like, hell yes, I've got this. So I was excited. So I'm excited for you.
Did they give you the words?
What's that?
Did you get the words, though?
So here's the thing. They had like a computer monitor sitting there and somebody on the side just scrolling down a Word document with the words up. Now, for that song, I don't need the words. I'm good. But,
yeah. We did like phone karaoke with old Gare in the basement bar.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's what we did at Talladega.
Saturday night.
Nice.
With the whole group.
We just pulled up. So he had a guitar, and I picked it up one day. I was like, I don't know if people are weird about people touching their guitars, but it's out here in the open in a guest area, and there's picks everywhere. I'm like, I'm playing this guitar for a little bit. So I beat on it a little bit, and then that was, I don't know if that was Friday afternoon or probably Friday afternoon. Then Saturday night, he comes in and he goes, is that you that was playing the guitar? And I said, yeah. I said, I hope I didn't overstep my bounds there, but put my hands on your guitar. He's like, nah, not at all. And so Lindsay convinced him to play, but he had written a song, so he sang us a song. It wasn't bad at all.
Wow.
And so we just started doing phone YouTube karaoke from there. It was fun.
Good time.
We were all hammered.
Sounds fun.
That'll happen. I don't know what's going on. Let's see. I'm still
working on it.
Yep, still working it.
Rusty's got to get the ad machine over there to add up to
Yeah.
a podcast being on YouTube.
Yeah, it's all a bunch of ones and zeros. So I work in software, and we had a product manager one time. And I use this quote all the time now because I thought it was hilarious. And we were telling him look, that's just not really possible. You can't do something with software or whatever. He goes, it's just a bunch of ifs and thens, isn't it? Yes, it's just a bunch of ifs and thens. What do you want to? It's ones and zeros. I don't know what to tell you, but no, we can't do that. So I use that all the time now. I just sort of bug the engineers, and they'll be like, dude, that's going to take 4 months to do, and I'm like, it's just a bunch of ifs and thens, and it's funny to see them they'll get really pissed at you. They're like, are you just? And then they realize, and then it's okay, all right, yep. It's a bunch of ifs and thens. It's going to take 4 months worth of ifs and thens to make that happen. Okay.
Yep.
So I'm like, I've been there, y'all. I'm not. It's fun. Anyway, With that, YouTubers, we're going to close this thing down.
YouTubers.
Thank y'all for hanging out and joining us. It has been an absolute blast as always. And with that, we're going to kill the stream.
And
Thank y'all for joining.
Yeah.
We'll see y'all next week
Have
for
fun
sure.
Stuck around
For
the-
sure.
all
Big
of
guest
this nonsense.
next week. Not that we don't have a big guest this week, but
Oh,
we're
yeah,
we're
well,
always excited about
Let's,
guests.
we've
Anyway.
got Diane.
Uh,
We've got Diane from Sonoma Raceway in the digital media department.
Yep.
And believe it or not, y'all, Rodney Sandstorm.
Rodney Sandstorm. If you don't know
Gonna
who it
be on
is,
the
look it up.
podcast.
We'll catch y'all next week. Thanks for joining. We'll talk to y'all later. See ya.